Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of a Swans Cast podcast. And I think we're going to end up uploading twice this week. So you might have already listened to one already that we recorded with the guys from the Seattle Sports Union. So we did that, I guess, not expecting when we were going to kind of upload it. But the stuff we talked about, I felt like it needed to go up to me because it was relevant. We're talking about the Cardiff game a little bit. But obviously, we've got to do one after that game, just to react on it, I guess. So we're having two this week. So bonus episode, if you like. But Lee is with me this time, as always.
Hello.
And we are going to discuss 3 in a row.
What more can you say?
Are you? How are you feeling after that result?
Yeah, still buzzing. I like I said before the game, I didn't think. I thought our joy in the sun was done. Our time in the sun with the derby. I thought we would be a bit spoilt, but the train keeps on rolling.
We've had a good run, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think the double doob is on?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The double doob.
I don't know if now that I'm confident, I don't know if it goes the other way now, but it's definitely on. I think we'll get into it, but I think we're so far ahead.
It's easy to say it now, though. You don't know what the form or what would be like at that time.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
They'll probably have another manager by then, the way it's been going lately. And it'll be 4-4 for Russell Martin if he plays against another manager, which is a bit crazy when you think about it. They asked him actually in the interview, like, why does he think that we're having such a good time right now? And that's what he said. He was like, well, we played them 3 times and they've had 3 different managers, so that's got to say something.
Oh, yeah, massive.
Without knocking like the team or the players, I think he was just trying to get at the club is maybe not as focused on a direction as perhaps what we are right now. And again, you can look at the bigger picture, maybe the criticism Martin's had, start of the year especially, but it just shows that pulling in that same direction, even through the thick and the thin, like maybe it is the best way to go about things. Another example of that actually could be Arsenal right now.
Yeah.
How long did Arteta have before he started getting it right? And I say getting it right because they're top of the league at the moment, and who knows where they're going to finish this season. But I think it looks like their hard work's paid off.
Yeah, it's refreshing because you just don't see managers in jobs very long, do you? And I think there's merit in keeping people longer, just to have the same. Because if you're chopping and changing all the time, like we said, like Cardiff, then it just doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, obviously we'll get into the details, the game itself. But before we get there, don't forget to subscribe, as always. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the big red button. Don't forget to click a thumbs up. If you're on Spotify, you can rate us, I believe, as well. So give us, whatever star rating you think we deserve. Hopefully it's a good one. And subscribe and follow us there as well, because I think you can keep up to date with everything we put out. We do put a couple more things on YouTube, though. We have like the match preview videos that I try to catch up with someone from opposition teams to get a bit of insight before the game. So that's only on YouTube at the moment. And social media, Twitter is where we're most active. So feel free to chat to us there. We're always interested in getting involved in any discussion. But yeah, that's it for the housekeeping stuff. On to the game, I guess. And where should we start? I mean, it's quite a big incident that happened right at the start, but we got maybe 7 minutes of the game to discuss before that, in which I will say I thought Cardiff started quite well.
They did. They were definitely the better side. You could see they come out hungry. I was panicking a little bit because they had sort of a couple of not chances, but sort of like mini openings where a couple of tackles flying in, but it was all down that end of the pitch, wasn't it?
It was a bit of sloppiness from some of our passing and not reacting under pressure. That gave them the half openings, and they looked like they were up for it a little bit more than. I don't want to say we went up for it, but perhaps they caught us off a little bit. Perhaps our players were a bit like, it's been easy the last couple of games, and that intensity right at the start caught them off. We never know if that would have fizzled out, died down. I think quite often teams that start that way, if they don't get a goal early, it does tend to go off and we would get a foothold. I'm not saying that we would have ended up going to win or score or anything like that, but I think the game would have changed. But we can't say because obviously what happened on, I think it was 7 minutes in.
I think what we saw was that we sort of come out and say, like, calm it down, take the pressure out of the game, just play the way you've been playing, be calm. And I think Cardiff started like with a different approach, just aggression, just pure like we got to win this game, come
Yeah.
out all guns blazing, and I think that's probably what leads to what happened. I think that's part of it, is that they were so maybe too up for it, because that like what happened was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, right. So the incident that we are referring to, I'm sure everyone listening watched the game. But for those who might not have, those of you that might have listened on the radio or whatever it is, Callum Robson, Cardiff's new summer sign-in to sort of bring them goals and inspire their forward line, by all accounts started okay. They were looking for him to do the damage today. I think it's him that fouls Mac Rhymes. And he picks the ball up after the ref blows his whistle. And Cabango comes over to get the ball. As he comes over, Cabango kind of leaves a shoulder as he's coming over to get the ball. So as a result of that, Callum Robson reacts like not wanting to give Cabango the ball, picks the ball up and kind of like, I thought he threw the ball at his face, but he doesn't actually leave the ball go. So he kind of like, I don't want to say hits him in the face with the ball. It's kind of like a bit of a tap like you would do to a baby with a balloon, like bumped him on the head sort of thing, but with the ball. And obviously Cabango milked it, let's be honest, he did. But why would you not? And why would you do it in the first place? Like, as soft as you might think it is, as like tame or whatever as it was, you just cannot hit any player at any point in the head, whether that's with your hands, your arm, your elbows, your feet, or the ball, like intentionally. And it was an intentional movement with an object to the head of a player. So that's an instant red card. The ref had no other choice.
Yeah, I will give credit a little bit to Cabango. Maybe not credit. It's not really part of the game, but I think it was class because, like I just said, they came out with just pure passion and aggression, and I think they were on that edge, and I think the players sensed it because I think even before that, like in the second half where Darling sort of makes a tackle and leans down to say something, he did that in the first half as well, and I think maybe you can sense when a team's just really on the edge of going overboard maybe, and I think Cabango just comes in, little nudge in the back, look like trying to get a reaction, and he does. And yeah, like you said, it's really stupid, to be fair. I remember in the stadium, when he did it, I was just thinking, what an idiot! He's got to get a red card here, and I just think, there's no words for it. It's so stupid, but we'll take it.
Yeah, take it all day long. Don't get me wrong, but like from a neutral perspective, we're always going to be biased with Swans fans, and I was like, that's it. We've got to win this game now. But and it did change the game because, like we said, Cardiff started well. They were pushing us good. They were pressing. They were, we didn't have any foothold in the game at that point, really. So it just changed the game completely because we were all of a sudden just totally in control. But from the neutral point of view, it's a big derby match, and that's like, I know red cards are quite common, perhaps in these sorts of games, but not in 7 minutes in for something stupid like that. It's not even like he's like gone through somebody, like it's. But yeah, you could say it's a shame from that perspective that it took the football match away, and it would have been, to be fair, interesting to see how we reacted to that start, and if we could have turned it around in a normal situation, that would have been a good test. We ended up winning 2-0, and it was a comfortable 2-0. It doesn't actually do justice to the way the match went. We won 3 and 4-0 the last 2 times. I think this game, if anything, had better chances, like overall, or more the ball. Probably should have done more this time. Kind of the way it goes sometimes with a red card, though, isn't it? With the team just have no choice but to sit back. It does sometimes make it more difficult, but we got the job done, which is the important thing. But yeah, Callum Robson, I saw a lot of people arguing that it was never a red card and the game's gone soft. But and the pundits, to be fair, they've all said like the ref had no choice. And I do agree. I think even if it was the other way around, I would just be so disappointed with the player that he's done it in this game.
Yeah.
Or any game really. But rather than being frustrated, the ref's given the red. Because like, if he goes over to see the assistant, doesn't he? And I think as soon as the assistant says to him, like, he's hit the guy in the face with a football.
Yeah, there was
to say anything else.
There was hardly no discussion. Was actually looks at him, and I think the lino must just say like, yeah, he's hit him in the face, and that's it. That there was literally not even a discussion, and the red came out.
Yeah, so
it is.
He knows as well.
It just seemed so stupid that somebody got sent off for something like that, but you can't do it. Like I think you're right. I think if it was the other way around, we would have just been slating the player, just saying like how stupid it was to do that in such a big game as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, not quite the best decision. But there was a nice tweet that came of it. I thought was quite funny. So this is Callum Robson just before kickoff, a couple of hours before kickoff. I mean, I'm guessing they didn't come in on the train, but it looks like from this picture. For those of you that might not be watching on YouTube, it's a story from Callum Robson's Instagram, I believe. It says first derby day soon, let's go. And it's like a picture of the stadium like you would take if you were coming into Swansea on the railway line that goes like above the stadium. Obviously, I guess he's got that from us. The video is it actually the Cardiff have uploaded.
Yeah,
They must have put like a little video together like the Swans did.
yeah, they did. Yeah.
Just to get you pumped, I guess. So anyway, yeah, so he's tagged that in this post. That's what he's done. But I just thought it was funny because he posted that and then the result. We quote tweeted it and just said, "Let's go have a bath," which I'm happy with that.
I think I think again, just maybe a little bit too up for it. Because
But that wasn't like too up for it. That was just reacting stupid.
yeah, I know.
Like,
I think like
smashing someone.
I think Mark Hudson said in the post-match interview, I'm sure he said something along the lines of like, he was dying to, make an impression on the derby as his first one. He was dying to sort of make a name for himself at the club, that he maybe went a bit overboard.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually realise it was him. I just thought afterwards when the game sort of settled down a little bit. I was like, oh, who got sent off? Because it seemed like, obviously, I thought it was a midfielder or something or a defender. And then when I saw them reset, I was like, oh, where's Callum Robinson up front? I was like, well, you've got a double blow there because, probably they're most likely to cause damage going forward, and he's sent off. So it was a double benefit.
Made it tricky. Made it tricky for them for sure. They did make a lot of changes for this game. Actually, I think they said it was 6 players in a starting team that were experienced in their first derby day. I think I picked up on that on the last podcast, but there was only one in the team from the QPR game, I believe. They made a few changes to bring some experience of the derby back in.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realise they made any changes.
They were staying on the telly beforehand. But yes, so or Swansea from that point onwards. There was one scare though before any goals were scored. I believe it was the right back Thomas Sang, who Cardiff had like a rare counter attack going forward. I don't know if it was I think somebody heads it clear off from the penalty area, and it just falls nicely to the right back who like volleys it. And to be fair, it was a good strike and a very good save from Stephen Bender, who I think it was the only save he had to make actually.
Yeah, I think it was. I panicked a little bit because it looked like when he hit it, the Stephen Bender was sort of slow getting across. I don't know, that was just my reaction at the time in the stadium. Yeah. But it sort of looked like he wasn't going to go for it, and then he does. So I thought, oh my God, I thought he was rooted to the spot for like a split second.
Yeah, so if you obviously we watched it, you watched it at the game. I watched it in the pub, so I have the luxury of talking about the coverage. But on the replays, you can see very clearly that Bender's going the other way because the curl of the ball. Yeah. So the ball curls quite a lot, right? So he hits it. It's one of them volleys that like swings, So he's going after the volley's hit like the other way, and then realizes, and that's why he looks like he's wrong-footed or slow to get across, and that's when he jumps to get to the ball. But it was a good save then, I think. Fair play. Yeah, if that had gone in, I would have been worried because they would have been sat back defending a 1-0 lead.
It would have been a long afternoon there. Well, it already started anyway at that point and afterwards. I just think it's going to be another like Reading type game, so frustrating. Just another team jumped in for all of the game, and you've just got to have a goal to open them up at that point.
Might be worth mentioning the referee at that point. He's saying about starting early, but time wasting and stuff. Chopped his silver locks off.
Yeah, I know. I thought that. Yeah.
What's his name again? What's his name?
Peter Walton, is it? Walton?
No, it wasn't. Was it?
Yeah.
Well, he's the same guy that was up at West Brom, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he's the one who usually got like long grey hair, isn't he? But cut it off.
Yeah. It's the same ref. I thought it was the same ref that we had when we went to West Brom. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I'm sure he's the ref that booked man in for the early yellow, and then he reacted, didn't he, at some point in the game when we were saying he haven't got a clue, and he was like, "Wait, what you on about?" Like, he says to the
No,
fans.
I think it was a
Did you
different
not?
ref. I remember the guy from
Okay.
West Brom. I think it was a
Maybe
different
I'm
one.
wrong. Fair enough. I mean, they're not all memorable.
Yeah,
This
G.
guy
Scott
definitely
was
was.
West Brom.
I'm trying to find the
And
the
Darren
ref
Bond.
now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's who it was. Yeah, Darren Bond.
yeah.
So he's
Try
cut
to
his
get
hair
that.
off basically for charity, apparently. So fair play.
Oh, fair enough.
Just thought I'd chuck that out there because he had the luscious locks like yourself. You should be sporting the Alice band like he was now.
And I'll try to pull it off like that. Not with the silver fox. I can't pull that off.
But yeah, so big. He said it was 2 big decisions that he had in this game, wasn't there?
Yeah.
You got the first one, I say spot on. Second one, it didn't matter in the end because we scored 3 minutes later. He wanted to know that at the time, though. But unbelievable. I thought that was unbelievable. Maybe he's unsired, and I think he had a player in between him and the incident. Okay, if that is the case, fair enough. And he did say he didn't see it. Okay, and if he doesn't see it, I guess you can never give a handball if you don't see it. But why is the assistant not seeing it? It's literally in line with him. Like, you would see a guy's fist. Like, surely.
That was awful. That was, yeah. I think like you can laugh about it now because it didn't affect the game, but that just can't happen. It just can't happen anymore. We had one against Reading as well, didn't we? Then, but they went down the other end and scored. Then,
yeah. It was.
I guess it brings up the. I guess it brings up the VAR again because you just can't. How can you miss that? I got to be honest though. I will say, like I was in the stadium and from where I was sitting, I couldn't really see what happened. I saw all the players run out to the ref, and I thought, oh, something. There must be something in it for them to react. Yeah, for them to react like that, something must have happened.
It wasn't a small reaction,
when I seen the replay, it's ridiculous. And you think someone actually sent me the replay because I said, "Oh, what's happened? Is it handball?" I text one of my friends. He sent me the video while I was in the stadium.
It's the reverse Maradona.
Just thinking, oh my god, how has that been? Imagine that cost us the game.
Oh mate, you can see Martin's press conference now, can you? But ultimately, yeah, basically, I know we didn't explain what happened. So I think it's Kipri, the defender, centre back.
Yeah,
Cedric Kipri. He goes to head a cross away that's coming across it's kind of like penalty spot area, part of the box. Somewhere around there. He's going for like half a diving head. Like it's not to the point he's diving, he's going to end up on the floor. He's kind of jumping forward, going for the header. I don't know if he realizes that he's going to miss the ball with his head, because I don't know why you'd have your arm there, right? But he basically, say he's leading for a header, jump in, in like a bit of a salmon. But he has his fist ahead of his head and he ends up fisting the ball away, like punching the ball away. His fist is like in front of his head, but kind of tucked in. So it's not like outstretched, but nonetheless, clear and obvious fist hits the ball, nowhere near his head. And like I said, fair enough if the ref has got a player in between obstructing the view, but you can watch on the replay, the linesman is in line with that cross. He's in line with the cross, which means he would see the player jumping across. There was no one in between. You'd see the player jumping across with his hand in the air, because I'm pretty sure that's the way he was facing as well. Or like,
yeah,
it's like that. If you can, I mean, again, if you're on Spotify, you can't see, but it's kind of like this. I just think he didn't want to make the decision. If the ref's not blown, I just think the linesman's too scared. They've already made one big decision. They're probably thinking, I can't do it again. Although
I think you're right. It's the other linesman. I think the other, like obviously the other linesman has to make the decision because he's right there. He's right there with that. But maybe the ref has seen a little bit of the red card as well and said, "Oh, I think he's done this. Did he do it?" But if the ref hasn't seen the other one, I don't think. I can't think of any other reason, because if he's seen it, he's got to give it. Other than that, he's probably thought, if he hasn't seen it, I'm not going to step in and make a name for myself here.
But it's poor though, and I think like what frustrates me about all these refereeing mistakes is they just like, after the game that was done, there's no questions asked. The only way you're going to improve it is if you acknowledge the mistakes and like try and be better afterwards. I think there needs to be a system in place that they're questioned on why that has been missed by, it doesn't have to be necessarily publicly, but at least a report should come out afterwards then that says like what they saw. and how the refereeing association is expected better, because ultimately when you look at where the linesman is and where this happened, there is no excuse. He should be seeing that. That's his job. That's what he's there for. What else is he there for? Call an offside and say when it's gone out of touch for a throw in. Literally.
Yeah.
You've got
I
three pairs
agree.
of eyes there on the pitch, and if you go into VAR as well, then I know there's a conversation. I feel like a development of VAR is necessary in terms of like the current format perhaps isn't the way forward, but there should be something in place that somebody is watching a screen that would see that is an incident and call it back. I
This is what
like
I've
the
said
rugby
before.
system, but
This is what I've said before, though. But like football's a bit more fluid. I said it's quite hard because the game moves quite a lot, doesn't it? But like when you watch the game on Sky, when you watch it, they pull up a replay within seconds, and someone's just got to be watching the game and just say, "Look, you've
yeah.
absolutely got this so wrong."
But it went straight off for the throw in. So like if there's someone watching that replay like within 5 seconds, they would know instantly an arse penalty in the ref's ear. That
Yeah,
was handball. Chuck it up
yeah.
on the screen.
But
Like
this
I
is
don't
the
even know why they
problem.
need the screen on the edge of the pitch. Give them a tablet. Like surely you can feed
Yeah, but
into their
this
tablet.
is the problem: is no one wants to take responsibility. Like the linesman doesn't want to make the decision, and even when VAR is there, they use it. And it's like, well, we're not going to make a decision. We're just going to tell you to go and look at the screen, and it's just that everyone passes the buck. Like nobody wants to step in and be like,
Yeah,
look, this is
I love
ridiculous.
the way that I know rugby you could say is too far, but the way that they ask the right questions and they have that dialogue between the guy in the van, the guy the referee, and it's like very clear, very to the point. They get the information they need. They cite the rules of like sometimes when it's a grey area and the try's not given, it's because of the way the wording of the rules. But at least you have the clarity then, like
Yeah,
of that in the conversation, and then you at least know why the decision's been made. And I would take like to know what I think to make VAR working properly. I know this is aside from the Cardiff game. I'm going to be controversial here, right?
here we go.
But I would bin off injury time, yeah, and I would get a stop clock, and I would also get rid of time wasting.
Oh, yeah, I this is one of my biggest bugbears with football, and it's really getting me down. Not getting me down, but it's really starting to bug me when I'm watching a game, and it seems to be happening more and more now. You've got the Reading game was the best example on Tuesday of a team just coming down and anti-football, wasting time, doing everything that's just against playing the game. And you're watching that and you think, oh my God, as a neutral, who watches this? Who's going to want to watch this game? But it's not just that. For me, it's like the injuries, like when players go down and then, oh, there's a big thing like, oh, you should kick it out. Oh, no, we don't want to kick it out. And then they go mad and the ref stops the game. And then 20 seconds later, the player's up running around like a gazelle.
Yeah,
I think that's ridiculous. Like that does my head in more than anything. I mean, I don't know how you police that because how do you can't the ref can't make a decision if someone's genuinely injured or not. But there's got to be someone in place that's like
I
you if
think
you're
that
going down, you've got to
yeah,
be seriously injured or we're playing on.
I think the clock thing gets rid of all of it though, because like if he stops a play and
Yeah,
stops a clock, then why would they do it? Like there's no reason to, unless you just need a
yeah.
breather. Do you know what I mean? Because you're never gonna. I don't think you ever get all the time back in injury time that's lost with the ball being out of play and all the rest of it.
No, you don't.
So if you introduce the stop thing and it's dead on 45 games over or half time or whatever, and I think that means VAR as well. It means they can go and look at these things without worrying about the time, if that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
Because you just okay, hang on, stop a clock. They think it's handball. Let me have a quick look. Oh yeah, handball. Time back on penalty.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout because that's the, I don't know. I don't know if it seems to be happening more just from 30 years of watching football.
They're just stubborn, aren't they? They're
It
stubborn
just
to
does
make the
my head.
change that's necessary to make the system
Yeah,
work. VAR is not perfect in its current form. I just think a lot of other sports have done a lot better. And you can say like Hawkeye and tennis, but tennis is completely different. Obviously, I know rugby's different, but in terms of it's on a field, end to end, two teams, referee,
yeah, but
like there's a lot more similarities where the same sort of system could work.
like
I
you
just
said,
think football is
every
stubborn.
sport, every other sport has found a way to make it work. Whether it, cricket uses Hawkeye and they use the
What do they do in NFL?
like the edge, they review it. So it's not really going to work in football, but in the NFL, they've got they've got rules where if something happens like in this time of the game, then the referee reviews it. Um, they've got like the coaches have got like challenge flags where they can challenge a referee's decision, and
All
then
right,
they've got
yeah.
to review it.
Well, that
And
might
there's
be a
other
decent
avenues.
system though, like 1.5 or something for each manager.
Yeah,
But
there could
I
be.
don't know, like if it's a wasted challenge for something, how do you say was like
Yeah,
deemed challenge worthy? That's the
yeah. It
problem.
wouldn't really. That wouldn't really like the NFL is different because it is very stop start. So there's so many
Yeah,
opportunities to do that. But I mean, VAR should review it anyway. They should just have a referee watching the game
yeah,
and just give somebody a bit of power and a bit of responsibility to just be like, that's wrong. That's handball. That's so ridiculous. You've got it wrong. It was penalty.
yeah. I think football needs to change its timing and the stopwatch needs to be added. I just think
All right,
it
100%.
improves VAR, gets rid of time wasting, people pretending to be injured, all this rubbish that is not good. One simple solution, I just think and you get to see more football. And if the argument is, well, actually, like games of football are only like 30 minutes after all the time out of play, the players will be knackered. Well, if that is the case, lower it to 40 minutes a half. Like if that's what the problem is, but I don't think that would be necessary. I think just chuck a
Yeah,
stopwatch in, get rid of injury time, and then you don't even have a situation like where we had the other day up at Watford where the lights went out and we had like 20 minutes of injury time because the clock would have just been stopped.
yeah.
Like
The Leeds
I just
Arsenal
don't
game
get
was
it.
off for
Why
longer,
do you need
wasn't
to
it?
keep it ticking? Why do you need to keep it ticking? If the game's not playing, the game's not playing. Just stop it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, rant over.
yeah. Sidetrack, but yeah, no, I agree with you. It's doing my head in.
Uh,
Players going down for ages and then just getting up and running on for another 90 minutes.
yeah. Um, Ollie Cooper added his name to the list of Derby Day scorers. Very special moment for him. I believe his dad or something like that played for Cardiff.
Yeah,
So big game to kind of like score in, especially when you're from the academy of a team. So he
I
obviously came through the Swansea academy, and that's just one way to like. That's it now. He's there forever, you know.
yeah. I called it on Friday night. I think I tweeted if he like emulates what Joe Allen did, just be amazing. And then he scores that goal. Yeah, like you
I
said, he's
just
there
want to
forever now.
say what an outstanding finish it was, though, because Kundal accidentally assists him. I'm sure he wouldn't
Oh yeah, yeah,
mind saying that he accidentally did that on purpose. Um, but absolutely outstanding. So, like, not even a meter between where Kundal misses the ball and Cooper finesses his shot into literally the top bins, top right corner. It's the post and kind of it's the floor and then goes in or something, or crossbar and then floor and then in. But he has to react so quick and to get that like finesse and that precision on where he's shooting. Because by all accounts, you're expecting Kundal to get a shot away there. He kind of wrong foots himself and falls over, which is and to be fair, like he done the Cardiff player because the Cardiff player was going in for the block on the Kundal shot.
yeah,
And because he's missed it, that gap's open for Ollie Cooper. But yeah, such a good finish to react that quick. Like he had split second to react and to pick
yeah.
where he's putting that shot.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's what's impressive about it was just to be able to do that in that split second with bodies in front of him on the floor, and then just to have that split reaction to lift it into the far corner away from the keeper. Yeah, class finish.
It was a very, very good finish.
Well,
And
can we just
go on.
talk about Ollie Cooper while we're on it? Just
Yeah.
I'm literally going to put it out there that I think he's player of the season if he carries on like this. I've been saying it so long that Stoke game where he made his first start was where our season changed.
Yeah. I think
Be
it's
where our
between
season changed.
him, Manning, and Grimes for me at the moment. Obviously, it's a long way to
Yeah,
go. But for me,
yeah,
them three are the ones that have got their hat in the ring.
yeah.
Maybe you could throw Cabango in there, but I don't think
Yeah.
he's quite up there with the others for me yet.
No, it's just because of the turnaround. When he played him in that Stoke game, we looked so much better going forward. The energy completely changed, and then I think Fisher made the mistake, and we had a late
Yeah.
equaliser, and he brings Bender in the next game and continues to start Cooper, and that's where our season just completely changed. Especially going forward, that's where we started going on this run of wins. I think he's been class,
Yeah.
and it's just still keeps telling him that he cannot drop him to try and bring in Perot and Obafemi. We'll get on to that later, but yeah, he's been class.
I do think, I know we had a moan when he got dropped. I think it was only 2 times, to be fair. He came back in the game after each time, and both times it was a 3-game week. So I do think maybe he's managing his fitness because he is only in his first full season with us. And I know he done Newport last year, but it's very congested at the moment, especially because of the World Cup. So I think it's a bit of rotation in there, and he's picking the games he thinks he's going to have a bigger impact. So you drop him for one, and he thinks, right, it's going to be a bit tougher perhaps. And then he brings him back for one, he thinks he'll have a big impact. He started the last 2 home games. Same as Cundle in a way, like he started in at home twice now. Maybe when we go away, he's trusting more experienced players in the harder, tougher away games, but while giving them a rest. So he's getting a balance okay. I think it is. He does want to keep the way. If you hear Russell Martin talk about Ollie Cooper as well, he's very complimentary. I think he's loving him at the moment. So
it's brilliant. But like, I think
keep playing.
I think like you with young players, you obviously need a bit of luck. You need a bit of luck to get that chance. Like obviously, I remember at the start of the season, he didn't have a look in. I think he brought him on. I think his first appearance of the season, he brought him on. It might have been the Luton game.
It looked like Congreve was going to be the one coming through, not him.
Yeah, and I think we lost to Luton at home 2-0, didn't we? And I think he brought him on, like in injury time maybe, or like with 5 minutes left. And it was the first game he played all season. I just think he's just not in his plans. But then, a couple of injuries.
He played the Oxford game as well, didn't he? He did it right there.
Yeah. I think a couple of injuries, like Patterson's been having a bit of a weird season with fitness, and Cham wasn't playing very well. So he's put him in. And Obafemi was forced onto the bench after the Burnley thing, which is why he started against Stoke, and he's just taking his chance.
And he's never looked back. 3 goals and 1 assist so far this season.
And my worry was that I just kept worrying that when everyone's fit, like he would have been an easy answer maybe because he's younger. It would have been easier to say, well, you can sit back on the bench while we bring all these players back in. But there's no way that can happen now. There's no chance.
Not at all. I agree completely. I think he's been an amazing find or like decision to bring him in. Obviously, he's not a transfer. I'm glad he didn't go back out on loan, and he's definitely benefited from his year at Newport. So onwards and upwards. And I think needs to be a serious conversation about him going to the World Cup now. This is my stance on it, right? If you're going to take Johnny Williams, why is Ollie Cooper not there? When Johnny Williams is playing in the lower league, like Ollie Cooper starting week in, week out now. He's scoring goals, he's getting assists, he's been a nuisance, he's plaudits from all the pundits now. People are taking notice of him. How can you take someone like Johnny? You're going to say the experience, or he's been there for Wales a long time and he knows all about him. That's what it will be said. I just think that's like, you just can't take him over him now.
I think
it's going to cost us friendlies before the World Cup.
Yeah, there's there's probably like a temptation to sort of because it's like this big occasion now, isn't it? Wales World Cup. It's probably a temptation to give these players like a chance because they've been there for so long, like a nostalgic element. But I think like at this level of sport, like someone like that in form, you can't ignore him. He's got to go.
Sometimes that exciting nobody that's come from nowhere, like no caps or anything in a big tournament like that, can be the difference.
There's always like in any sport, like obviously we watch a lot of rugby. There's always like a World Cup bolter, or you say like a Lions bolter, someone who just hits form at the right time and just flies with it, and they end up in like the Lions test team, or like when the World Cup, a player comes in and just lights the World Cup up. It's just got to be, you got to go with it. If he's hot on form now, if he carries on like this for the remainder of we haven't got many games left.
2 or 3 games, I think.
Yeah, there's not many. If he carries on performing like this, gets another goal, just carries on before he's got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah, I'd love to see him go, to be honest. I think he deserves it. Okay, moving on from Ollie Cooper. I don't really think too much happened the rest of the first half. We did have some chances. Obafemi could have had he did end up getting his goal, but he could have scored 4. He definitely could have had a hat-trick.
That could have come back to bite us.
A couple of times. He got through, didn't he? And he hit it wide. Then he did a turn. That was a good strike, but I think he got saved. Turned someone and got saved. And then finally, Mac Rhymes played an outstanding pass through the middle to let him in. And he did finish. He finished his dinner at last.
he needed that goal. Bloody hell! I was like not slating him, but you think you can't be missing these many chances. He missed another one after his goal as well, 1-on-1 with the keeper.
Yeah, that went wide as
But
well, just wide of the post. Same sort of shot as the first one, just
yeah,
trickled wide. Yeah. But he's getting in the positions. Perhaps he's still getting back to where he was after the Burnley
I gotta
stuff
be
and
honest.
first half
Like
of the season.
I wasn't slating him, but you start to when it's a game like that and it's 1-0, I just think, oh, all these missed chances are going to come back and bite us. But I will say, like, he always looks dangerous. He always looks like he's getting behind. His pace is ridiculous, and I forget all the time how young he is.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, you forget, and it's just ridiculous.
3 goals against Cardiff then in 2 games. I saw Swansea tweeting that, he's got joint 6th on the all-time list alongside the likes of Nathan Dyer and Darren Pratley. I think he scored the 2 in the away game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he replied, which I haven't got the reply there, but he replied asking what the record was. Obviously, Swansea replied saying 8, and then he's come back with April it is. Imagine he scores 5 goals in April. I'm not making any bets, actually. I'll come back to me.
Just in case.
Yeah, that would be amazing if he does that, though. Could you imagine?
Yeah, fair play to him. He's been brilliant. He has been brilliant,
Yeah.
but there we go.
So, obviously, I think 2-0, we kind of controlled the game then. Probably should have scored more, but it was kind of one of them where it was like, it was done anyway. It would have been nice to get a couple more, but like some of the commentary afterwards as well, they were literally saying like it's like a training match. So
I know you appreciate it at the time when you're watching it in the derby.
Yeah.
And Russell Martin, what he said afterwards, he must have just like, I know like they won the game, but when he came out of his press conference, he must have just been like, I absolutely nailed it, because everything he said was like so spot on. I mean, he said a few things about like Cardiff. He wasn't like, rubbing it in and getting excited. He was right in everything he said about, the 3 managers in 3 games. And then he said, he touched on like, I know it's a derby game. I know there's a red card. So the fans are getting frustrated because they're expecting a goal like straight away, because it's a red card and they're getting excited. But we just had to like, control the game. And then when you like watch it back, you're like, oh yeah, you can see what they were doing. There was no panic from him. I think he's sitting down when they score the first goal. There's just no panic from him. He's just sort of back in the way that they're playing. You can't take it, can you? You're like, oh my god, we need to score. Like we have to win this game. But they bossed it. They absolutely bossed it.
We talked about his assist for Michael Obafemi, but I do think we need to talk a little bit about Matt Grimes specifically. Yeah. I watched through the whole game. I think some people quick to say they don't think he does much, or he just passes backwards or sideways or whatever. But if you ever want to see what he can do, and I know who's against 10 men, but you still have to take control. And he took it by the scruff of the neck, I think. Everything went through him. He was picking the ball up everywhere. And people say that he doesn't forward pass. He's had 5 assists this season now. He's our top assister this season. I just thought he was amazing. Like, it was one of the best performances I've ever seen him do. And I've said for a long time that I think he's doing the Leon Britton role. And I know people don't like him getting compared to Leon Britton. Gary Monk said it on Sky.
Yeah, he did.
Gary Monk said he reminds me of Leon Britton. So just saying, I should be on Sky.
No, he is. He definitely is. I think people have got to remember, like I said, I think it goes back to like people being frustrated about not scoring against 10 men, a bit of a panic setting in. But when I watched it back, I just think, what a player. I genuinely think I used to be a bit skeptical or not whether he could play at the top level, but I think he could play in the Premier League.
I think he can. I think it's on his team to give him the space sometimes. And when he gets that space, he's like unplayable with the ball. Something people might criticize sometimes is tackling or like if he wants to get stuck in or whatever. But it's not his job. Yeah, his job is spraying the ball around, getting your team moving, rotating the ball. I think one of our friends was saying when he was slowing the game down all the time. I know if he's listening, I know he'll know who he is. But I'm going to call him out anyway. He's saying he's slowing the game down, like, oh, it's going so slow. So it's like, I'm sorry, but we like didn't a lot of people want this Swansea way or this way of playing football? Well, that is literally how it works. You pass the ball around, you move the ball around to move the opposition to create the gaps, and then it goes back the other way, and it goes back the other way. That's literally what he's asked to do. That is the job. That's the game plan. That's the system. So you might want to see more direct, fast counter-attack stuff, but that's not what we are doing as a team. So the criticism of him slowing the game down, I personally don't see it, because that's what he's meant to be doing, if you like. That's how we want to play. So that's a different conversation then, if that's what you don't like. But that's what the game plan is. Be patient and score a goal.
It amazes me. We've had this conversation so many times about people who wanted to, bin off playing rubbish football, or, bin off rubbish football, and doesn't matter about the results as long as we're playing the right way. It amazes me week in, week out, where I sit in the stadium, the amount of people that moan about us, not being more direct.
Recycling the ball.
Yep. You do every single game, people are like that. Forward. Oh, somebody have a shot. Come on, get forward. Play the ball forward. Don't play it backwards. Don't play it shouting. I will even say someone by me was screaming for Matt Grimes to come off.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He did get man of the match, okay? He made 126 accurate passes, which is more than the whole Cardiff team. Accurate. Obviously, they made 146, but it was only 84% passing accuracy. Sorry, I'm lying. I got that wrong. 146 passes, 84 of them were accurate, 58% passing accuracy. So, nearly like 1.5 times as many passes as the whole Cardiff team, accurate passes now. That's insane in itself. Like, that's against 10 other players, or 10.2 if you want to say, like, the first one was there for 10 minutes.
It'd be interesting.
Absolutely crazy.
On that, have you got like a touch
I've got one
map
up from Sky as well. Hang on. This one?
Is that the touch map? Is it like where? Yeah. So you look at because the point I was going to say next was like the variation in where he is on the pitch and where he picks up the ball.
Yeah.
Now you look at that where he gets the ball and plays his pass, absolutely everywhere. How do you cover that, especially with 10 men? How do you cover that? I mean, people saying he's slowing the game down, but what he's done there is, you've said it, he's picked the game up by the. He wants the ball all the time, everywhere. He's always free. And what he's doing, he's looking for that one moment there where he plays that assist. Because he's going out to the right to get the ball. He's having a look, right, there's nothing on. We'll go back up to the other side. Then he's the other side picking it up. Is there anything over here? No. I'll play it in the midfield. I'll go back over here. He is just the quarterback.
And if you look at...
He is literally moving the game around the pitch. And that's that. You see it there. He has moved that game everywhere. He's moved that Cardiff defensive block all around the pitch.
And that's why the chances open up, because they get tired.
And that's why he was waiting for that moment, which he picked out. It's class. You can't underestimate how good that is. If you... Touch wood, if he got injured for us and was out of the team, you would notice.
There's no one else that can replace that.
Yeah.
There's no one there. We'd have to change what we're doing until he's back, I think.
That picture there is perfect, because that's exactly what we're trying to explain. Look where he is picking up the ball all the time.
And just to say as well, he made 4 chances, so he only passes sideways or backwards. 4 of our, I think a couple of them were Obafemi's ones that he missed. He made 4 chances, so there could have been 4 assists in this game. Because he put people in on goal, and they obviously didn't score. Obafemi did. It is his 5th assist of the season. It's just absolutely everywhere. If you look at the passes that he did, obviously not get accurate as well, they are ones that you can see he's trying to play someone in as well. So it's obviously hard at that point, like getting defended, whatever. But then I think that just dismisses the argument that he doesn't try these killer balls as well. I mean, the 5 assists does that, but you can see he's tried it quite a few times.
But he picks the moment, doesn't he? He just picks the moment. Like I said, he goes over one side of the pitch to get the ball. He's like, oh, there's nothing on you. We'll recycle it. We'll go back. We'll go back in the midfield. We'll come back. And he's just moving it around the pitch, and he's waiting for that moment. And it's just, I can't say any more about him. He's been doing it all year. I'm glad he's getting the recognition now, because he does this game in, game out.
And there's something ridiculous as well about how many games in a row he started. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. It was like 120 something or more in a row for Swansea. So basically 3 or 4 seasons straight. And he started every single game. Remember, like Ashley Williams used to do in the Prem for us?
Yeah.
As captain. I mean, people moan about him being captain, but that's what you want.
I have no issue with him being captain. Never have. You see him now, like in the post-match and everything. Like, I know it's funny. Like, like we'll get onto it, like Latabodier's tweets and Patterson's tweets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't get involved with that sort of thing. He's just ultimate calm. He's ultimate leader. His interview before and after the match, just calm. Yeah, it's a good win. It's massive for the club. We know that. It's all calm. He's just, I think he's great. Love the man.
So on average, he's creating a big chance every game. 1.2 key passes every game. 91% average passing accuracy. 85 of that in the opposition half.
Do you remember how much we had to defend him, like in the Steve Cooper days, where people said he was atrocious? And
yeah, but like
we used to watch some of the goals back that we scored. Some of the goals back that we scored, and like literally always came through him at some point all the time.
Yeah,
like starting off
that heat map. Like look at that heat map for the game.
Everywhere.
He's literally everywhere, like left, right, center, defending, attacking, box to box. I think very good. So that's why I know you're saying Ollie Cooper player of the season. I have to say Grimes has to be in there for a shout. I know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Ollie Cooper's hands down winning young player of the season. That's not without a question, I don't think. But there's still a shout for player of the season. But we got a long time to go still. So, anything could happen between now and then. I do think his set pieces have got better as well lately. Grimes is.
Yeah, I think so.
There was a criticism for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But a lot of the corners, I know we didn't necessarily have a massive opportunity from one yesterday, but the deliveries were good. It was just that unfortunate bit that got defended or didn't quite fall right in the box. There was a couple of deep ones, a couple in the middle, and there was one or two that could have been dangerous, but they got cleared in the end. But yeah, I think very positive.
I'd love him. I'd love him to get more goals as well. That's not a criticism just for him, just because not everybody sees the dirty work that he does that we've pulled up there, but. Like when he scored against Barnsley in the playoff semi, like last season, not the season before. Sorry, he just deserved that. I just love it if he scored like a goal in a big game, like further down the season. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
like an absolute rocket.
Okay, question then. So we talked about how good Grimes is. I think maybe Fulton as well. Fulton's been partnering him since Allen obviously has been injured. Fulton was going where he had to go before that. So whether that was a replacement for Allen, whether that was further forward alongside Ollie Cooper, he was just doing a job in the team. Allen's got injured. He's been ever present alongside Grimes. He's showing the form now is why we loved him so much before last season. People seem to forget that last season when he had he had a difficult year. Let's not put it any other way. He had the chance to leave as well and he didn't want to leave. And now he's come back in. And I just think, again, like for me, I can't even bring Allen straight back into the team.
No, you can't. No chance. Joe Allen is what it is.
Criticism to Allen either.
No, I think you're right. We know Joe Allen's quality anyway, but you can't bring him straight back in because they've been outstanding. The run they've gone on, apart from the Burnley game, they've been outstanding in all games. Yeah. And Fulton's been part of that. Him and Grimes midfield have proper hit their stride now. Like they are dominating it, didn't they? And I'm glad Fulton's getting the recognition he deserves as well because he's been slated all the time, and he's finally getting recognition.
Yeah, I haven't seen that thread for a while. The one that was highlighting every game we lost and trying to blame Fulton for it. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. It was like we lost the game. They would just screenshot the substitution of Fulton and try and say it's his fault. I would love to see the same thread now. Screenshot the score, screenshot him in the starting lineup, and just the thread of that. Because that's apparently how it works. So,
yeah, just like that.
Yeah. So yeah, Fulton. I think I just those two. They've done it before. They've done it under Potter. They did it under Cooper, where it was those two, and it's showing that that's just a good partnership. It's got a good balance. Grimes controls the things. He passes it around. We spoke all about that already. But Fulton adds a bit of grit, gets stuck in. I think he's a bit box to box as well, actually. Like he was dropping back into the defense, when Grimes was pushing on a little bit and covering for him. Like it just was working really well. And I think it has been for a couple of games now. And let's also, yes, I know it was against 10 men, but he also got 96% passing accuracy with 102 passes accurately played. So he also played more completed passes than Cardiff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. I know the red dictates that, but yeah, he's been brilliant.
Yeah, but
He had a bit of
you midfielder against the whole team. Like the red dictates to a certain extent, but more than the whole
yeah.
team.
No, I know. I'm not downplaying, and he's been class as well.
So the question is, like, when they are all fit, I know we've kind of touched on it already, but do we change anything? Like, what happens? And that includes Perot, perhaps, and Patterson when they come back. Like, how do they get back into the
Well,
team? Do
we're
they
going to
get back
be
in?
frightening when they're all fit. Surely, if they continue this form, the players that are there now. Sorry, still got a bit of a
It's all right.
cough. It's my sore throat from the weekend. This is still recovering. Yeah, if you think, if you assume Grimes is going to start because he starts every game as captain as well. If you assume he's going to start, you've got Fulton, Allen, Ncham, Patterson, Cundle, Ollie Cooper. That's 6 players. That's before you even get to Perot and Obafemi. So there's 8 players there to fit into 4 positions.
Yeah.
This incredible competition now. And I think what it does is when they're fit, hopefully, the players are performing so well now. They may raise their game again because they're saying like, well, I'm not giving up my space. It challenges them to keep performing and not take their foot off the mark. But I hope he doesn't just put them straight back in.
I would like all of them to have to earn their way back into the team, just as a statement more than anything.
Ncham as well?
Did you say Ncham?
I can't remember. I said Ncham. I might have. I can't remember.
Well,
But
Ncham's around there now when he came off the bench in this game.
Yeah.
But I would like all of them, like Pato, Pirro, Allen, to earn their way back in because it's easy to chuck Pirro back on because of what he did last year, but he hasn't done that this year. And agree or disagree with the red card, he still got the red card. So show us why you should be starting now. Michael Obafemi scored in this game. I know there's another. He misses Bristol, doesn't he, as well? So we'll see what happens there. It could be the situation that, touchwood, Obafemi goes and picks up a knock or something and we're forced into it, and fair enough if that is the case. But I think he should start on the bench, just as a statement more than anything. Come off the bench and show us you deserve to start again. Work a bit harder,
Yeah.
Allen,
I agree.
he lost out because of injury, so it's not quite the same, but still the other guys have taken their chance. So you've got to come on now and do even better than them. Or just back up what we're doing already, sort of thing, so we can rotate perhaps where it's the busy fixture schedule.
When we come back after not Christmas, when we come back after the World Cup, the fixtures are going to be ridiculous. There's going to be so many midweek games in the end of next season because I think the season only finishes like a week or 2 later than it normally would, but we've missed a month over
there's a lot of midweek games,
so there's going to be so much to catch up on. So but this could be the difference in terms of like where you finish in the table. If we think we can have a playoff push or a promotion push, if our bench teams, all of a sudden is if our bench is then Allen, Perot, Patterson, Cundle or Ncham, whoever he starts, like how strong is that in a season where you've got to try and push on? But again, this comes to I was going to come to Russell Martin later on, but at the beginning of the season, people said that he hadn't been backed, and my argument was that he has been backed. That squad that we've got is good enough to compete. We shouldn't be, losing the games in the manner that we are because we did have a squad to compete. And all fairness, when we turn it around, but you can see it now. Look at the quality of the players. Look how well they play, and we do have that squad that's capable of competing.
Yeah. And so the bigger teams might have a lot more players going to the World Cup. The ones that came down to the Prem, for example.
Yeah.
Wonder how much that will affect them if they're still in the competition or tired from travelling. Or all the rest of it just for Christmas as well. It could be interesting now when it's January, what happens in the Championship. I mean, it's already so tight and crazy. I think the most crazy I've seen in recent memory. So,
it's
but then,
massive.
if we can get some, I guess it gives the opportunity. Can you take it by the scruff of the neck and go on and make something happen, and all the players have got that opportunity. So, could be an interesting season. Maybe we'll fall off. We'll have to wait and see.
As long as, it depends on the January transfer window as well.
Yeah. Just... there's no reason why we don't need to stand our ground for any of our players right now.
You could say to any of them, look, if we're still in this position come January, be like, look, we got a real We got a real chance here.
Yeah, and just say if it doesn't work out, we'll have a look at the summer, what options there are. I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
but I going back to it, I hope that he doesn't just do that, just try and shoehorn Perot and Obafemi in together and drop like Cooper or just or Cundle even.
Yeah,
If it was one of the two behind the striker, I think it's got to be one or the other now. It's got to
we're
be.
just more
We were calling for
creative.
it before. We were calling for it before he got the red card. We said like he's not performing very well. It's got to be one or the other. You can't drop the informed players. You can't drop Fulton, Cundle, or Ollie Cooper just to try and get the two on the pitch because it hasn't worked like it did last year. So I think it's got to be either Obafemi or Pro.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I will pick up on though, the wing back situation. Now, I don't want to be too nasty, right? I think Lapodia, I thought he had a good game really on the face of it. He did have a good game. He got in some really good positions. He did do some decent things with the ball. And to be honest, he can put a decent cross in. But I just don't think you can tell that he's not a wing back. You can tell he's not a wide player. When he's out there with the ball, he's a bit clumsy on the ball. The cross doesn't always come because he can't always get past the man or he's closed down too quick and stuff like there's little things. Like Grimes played him in up there so many times.
Yeah.
And he did get some good balls across the box. I will credit him because he's out of position. And he did have a relatively decent game. And the Sky commentary was singing his praises, actually, saying how the wing backs getting in behind all the time. But he was making them good runs. He was to get in those spaces. The problem I was having was like, if you've got a Hans Wolf there and you're getting in that gap, like you just, or a Led or a Christie, they were going to do a lot more with it.
Yeah, it's such a shame we couldn't get someone like Laird or Christie back because I think we'd be even more frightening now. And again, like I don't want to criticize Latbodia because I think like he's come in and he does do a job, but it's just having that capability in that position where like if we, for example, in that position with all that space that they had, him, Mansour, and Ola, all game they sacrificed that space out wide when they went down to 10 men running in there. You said like a wolf. We're gonna run riot.
Yeah.
And that's not really. And I know he did play well, and he does. He always does a job. I've got no criticism. I can't criticize him too much. But you just need a specialist wing back in there, and we could be frightening.
I know why Martin's playing him there. He works so hard. He's probably one of the hardest workers in the team, and that does help us out. It's just maybe we have more chances to score more goals if it was someone else that's more of a right back or
I think that's
wing
it.
back.
Yeah,
but I think when he's got the limit, obviously maybe he doesn't fully trust Finley Stevens. Mannin's injured, and even if Soronola's there, I think like he subs him off anyway for Latabodia at some point.
Yeah,
he just trusts him because of his work rate, and it's not a bad trait to have. And I guess we are where we are with him playing there, sometimes and doing all right with it. So
I think he's great in terms of his work rate and his defensive capabilities. I think he does quite well. I think he's perfect to break. Like we missed Manning on Sunday. You can see like what Manning does now. He does bring a lot of energy from wing back. He does sometimes, drive into the box. He might have a shot. He has got a lovely left foot for a crossing. We definitely missed that. So if you've got him on the other side and Sorinola on the right, if you're 2-0 up or you're 1-0 up on the road and then you've got to bring Latabodia on a wing back to shore it up, it's perfect. But in a game like that where it's 10 men and you've got to force the issue, you've got to go forward and make chances, it's a different story.
Okay, let's bring it around with Russell Martin. 3-3 against Cardiff. I guess we can talk about a couple of points here. We've got Russell Martin and how he's managed to get that record. Like, no one's ever done the double until last year. Russell Martin did it, and now he's carried it on and won again. Hasn't conceded a goal against Cardiff. Aggregate 9-0. He kind of like, I don't want to say don't mind, but you kind of don't mind if you lose the next one. Do you know what I mean? We've been so spoilt that
you've got enough in the bank, haven't we? Just to
yeah. You can have
one.
an off day and get over it, is what I'm saying. Obviously, nobody wants to lose that game. But what's he done? Like, and what's happened to the derby? Has it changed? Like, are we just dominant now? Do we just expect to be the people seeing us as like the better team in the South Wales derby? But I don't want to like jinx anything, or it's hard to ask that question. But the recent form tells a story, so I'll just go through since 2014. So that's the year that 2013-14. That's the year we were both in the Premier League together. Yeah, we played each other 9 times. So obviously we haven't played the second leg this season yet. And that is only 2 defeats, 1 draw, 6 victories.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know if it's you. I don't know if you've like. I'm like this. I feel like I was chuffed that we won, but then sometimes I feel uncomfortable with like the over celebration. I'm like, oh, I don't know. This, one day we're gonna be on the other end of this. But
I
I
think
guess
it
you've
will
got to
be on the
enjoy
other
it
end.
while
You've got to enjoy it while it's there, haven't you?
you've got to enjoy it while it's there. You've got
Yeah.
got to. But I don't know, to be honest. I think Russell Martin's been class. I think the reason why a lot of people like him is just his personality. He's proper bought into Swansea, into the city, into the people, like understood the derby so much. I think when we won the first game last year so well, I think we were, we were playing fantastic football, and I think we've sort of caught Cardiff by surprise. That we were able to produce such a standard of football in a big game, and I think that's where it's happened before. All the derbies before used to be so tight. They were never like big wins, loads of goals. Sometimes we had like a couple of 3-2s and stuff, but the sides were so evenly matched just because of the occasion. But I think what Russell Martin has done is just like, we play this brand of football, and I think we're gonna do it regardless.
Yeah.
And in particular, the away game last year, with the challenge of doing the double, the pressure was on. We've already won the first game. The fact that they went out, and I think they played the best football I've ever seen them play under Russell Martin in that game. To beat any championship side 4-0 away from home is massive, let alone, in your derby. I think he's just been able to play that football and like reduce the occasion, not reduce the importance of it. He's just been so good at making them play that game no matter what. And again, like I said about his press conference after the game, that's the way it came across. I just to him because you can't praise him enough for being able to do that. Like you said, 110 years to win 3 in a row, double, or a quadruple, however you want to spin it. It's massive. But I do think on the flip side of that, sorry, I'm monologuing a bit, but on the flip side of that, I think we've handled the relegation so much better than Cardiff have. I think when they first came down, obviously your team is still, is still decent. But the fact that they had to let so many players go in the summer and have a massive turnover, and they need good 2 or 3 years to rebuild that. I think they've knocked themselves back a couple of years with the way they've handled the relegation. And I guess you can credit us for what we've done. The fact that we've been able to compete every year since we've been relegated.
It's the manager changing for them. It don't help as well. They try something and then they give it up. So I don't really understand why they sacked Steve Morrison, to be honest. They're not doing any better than when he was there. They were in touching distance anyway, like mid-table, and it's so tight, as we've already spoke about. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me at all why they sacked him, because nothing has got better for him, has it? Clearly. A couple of interesting stats, though. In that same 9-game period that I've spoke about, we only have conceded 2 goals to them in 9 games. If you go back to 11 games, right, which is 2010, there's never been a both teams to score that's come in 11 games. So it's like always been the winning team winning to 0, or there was 1-0 in the middle of it, which is crazy. So one for your bet and slip in April, lads. Both teams to score, no. That means it's going to be like 3-3 now. And if we look at proper competition form now throughout our history, which means excluding any matches that might have been played before we were in the English league system and in the Welsh Cup, because that was a bit of a joke, wasn't it, to be honest, when we were both in that. Swansea have won 32 games. They've drawn 18 and we've lost 23. I know Cardiff like to use the full stats when they talk about it, which includes all the millions of Welsh Cup finals that they beat us in, which I think sees them overtake us in terms of wins. But let's be honest, let's look at the real matches, the real form, the ones that actually count for something. And we're on 32 wins to 23 now.
Yeah.
So I think we are dominating the South Wales derby. I think that is fair to say.
I think I think the derby's changed forever now. I think like we said last year, I never thought I'd see a double. Never mind a P like this. I don't know. it's hard to put your finger on what's changed. I know I said like we've handled the relegation better, but I think I think they've got in the playoffs once, haven't they, since they come down? Maybe the first year they came down. Because it was the year that we played Brentford in the final, were they in the semi against Fulham?
Yeah. It was when we were in the final because we could have played them.
Yeah, so I think they still had the core of a Premier League team when they came down, but I think since then, like, you can't have a turnover like you had in the summer. I think they just turned over their whole team basically. But normally when you look back at and we go back to like 2010 and 2011, the Cardiff side that used to come down here, it was like, Bellamy and Bothroyd up front, and they had brilliant teams, and so did the Swans. They were so tightly matched. But when Cardiff came down this year, like, no disrespect, like I didn't know half the players that were in that squad. Only if I heard of them, and I just I think they were just miles off the pace. I think it's changed forever in the sense that like we want to have this anymore. The double thing is gone. It might just be like a period of dominance now, whether it swings either way. You might just have a team just dominating for a while, and then Cardiff might win and get back, and then they might win a couple in a row. I think it's just changed now because that double is gone.
But I think that again, I think the dominance has lasted throughout our lifetimes. I'm looking at it right here, and we're 90s babies, without saying the exact years. So 1990, right? Since 1990, Cardiff have only won 6 times. Swansea have won 17.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah.
So there's a bigger story there, and it does make me happy to look.
Yeah, there is. They've got. I'm not too clued up on it. I mean, I don't want to say too much because we'll get slated by Cardiff fans. But I think like they've got problems at board level.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's rotten to the core. I think they need massive changes. They've got so many legal cases outstanding
after the whole incident.
Yeah, but that's one of them. But I think they've got more as well from like previous owners, from like when Ridgedale was there and stuff. I think I don't know. I won't say that.
There's issues, but it's not like we've had our own issues, so
yeah.
Use that as an excuse. Yeah. We go at our owners enough. We say when it goes wrong for us, we all jump on our owners and we say it's their fault and the money and all the rest of it. So they had 2 chances to go up to the Premier League. By the way, they went up twice and they still bottled it both times. So it's not like it's not like they haven't got any success there. They never built on it really. So I don't think. Right. Yeah. Anyway, it's enough about
whatever happens. Anyway, we've got it right. We've got it so right. The last, like you said, in the last 10, 15 years, we've got it so right on the pitch in general. That
yeah. Right. I want to end on then. We got actually first of all, Swansea's next game is against Bristol City away, which is what, next Saturday?
Yep, I will be there.
Nice. So whoever's on the fixture list, that's hell of a bit of organising there. I mean, Swansea home to Cardiff, followed by Swansea away to Bristol. That's a bit of a nuts week. Let's hope we can get. I didn't realise as well. Cardiff lost the double to us last year and to Bristol City.
Yeah,
and it was a bigger derby for them than it is for us, Bristol City. But anyway, I want to end on the game like we like to play. So I've got a question for you this time. What was the team when Swansea City beat Cardiff City 3-0 at the Liberty Stadium on the 8th of February 2014?
2014. So this was the Prem team, is it? Yeah.
Premier League. That's all I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you the manager because you can guess him. If you want to start with him, perhaps.
But Gary Monk, first game in charge.
Yeah. Gary Monk, the manager.
That's when I thought the double was going to go, because we'd lost the first game and then we sacked the manager just before the game. I thought, oh my God, this is what's going to happen in the Premier League as well.
Big call that was, but it paid off, man.
Massive goal, yeah. But
there must have been some in, because they don't do that before the derby if there's not some in.
No. Right. Okay. I hate doing the Prem ones. I always forget the goalkeeper. I always forget.
Start off with goalkeeper. You can't forget the goalkeeper.
Vorm.
It is Vorm.
Thank God. No, I always think I could get the seasons mixed up. It all blurs into one, whether it was him or Tremel, like the early seasons.
Usually Vorm, I think, to be fair.
That's a solid start, that is. That's a good start.
Right back.
Right, we'll go Rangel.
Correct. Centre backs, 2.
Ashley Williams and Chico Flores.
Both correct. Left back.
Ben Davis.
Yeah. It says defender / midfielder, but he definitely played left back. Okay. Centre midfielders, 2.
Shelby.
Wrong.
Britain.
Britain, yeah, right. That's how you've used your guesses. You know, another one. Central attacking midfielder.
Pablo.
Wrong.
Oh, I know it is.
Tough.
No, I know exactly what it is.
It's tough. It's tough. By the way, they showed that goal when they were talking to Monk about like his when they introduced him at the start of Sky.
Oh yeah,
you know the goal I'm on about, the Routledge goal. I've just told you the name.
Well, yeah, I knew. I was going to say that. Yeah.
They showed when they were showing Monk and they were talking about obviously your first management day was then, and they showed that goal. I was like, oh, that's the best goal. That's the best one. That ball from we know who I'm not saying because you haven't said. Only I've guessed him, from Pablo. That ball from Pablo.
Did he come on at half time then?
Well, we'll get there.
That must have been like because they scored early.
You're saying Routledge, yeah? Saying Routledge.
Yeah, Routledge and Dyer.
Who's the other winger? Dyer. Yeah, that ball from Pablo was insane. Striker.
And I know the attacking midfielder was.
Tough. We'll come back to it later. Who's the striker?
Boney.
Oh, yeah. Okay. On the bench.
Shelby.
No.
What?
That's one guess down. He must have been injured or something. He's not there.
He must have played in the away game then, because I remember the picture of him.
Yeah, he did, and he was doing the swim away, wasn't he?
I thought it was that game. Because we won that derby. Oh no, yeah. No, it was the away game.
The Cardiff fans when we lost.
Yeah, it was the away. Yeah.
And he got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one down for 7. So you've got 6 left.
Pablo on the bench.
Yeah, Pablo was on the bench. He did come on.
Come on for I know who as well.
Right, well, we'll get there.
Yeah. What else have I got? Goalkeeper on the bench, Tremel.
Yeah.
Monk season. Who was on the bench? De Guzman?
Nope. Cañas, yes. 2 left.
Fernandez?
Nope. I don't think he was there yet.
No, I think he bought him at the end of that season, in the summer.
One more.
Vasquez.
No. Yeah. No.
Pozuelo.
Season before. That was it was this season. Vasquez, wasn't it? Europa League.
Yeah, he must not be on the bench.
Pozuelo was no as well. Sorry.
Where were all these players?
That was a cheat
all
guess.
the Spanish players.
That was a cheat guess. I'll tell you who you've got wrong, and then you can guess the subs, right? So you missed out in the starting lineup. Jonathan de Guzman was the other midfielder.
Oh, I know the midfielder.
And the central attacking midfielder was Marvin Emnes.
I knew it was Emnes. I knew it as soon as I said Pablo. Yeah.
On the bench, you had Jordi Amat and Neil Taylor.
Amat. Oh, yeah.
Neil Taylor, you had Roland Lamar.
Yeah.
And David Ngog.
Wow. He's a good bench.
I'm sure Roland Lamar played for Belgium at some point.
Yeah, where were all these players? Like Pozuelo was there, Vasquez was there.
Yeah, but wasn't the whole thing like the Spanish players pulling out with
binned them all, didn't he?
well, Canas got on, Pablo got on, but they all started fading out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Pozuelo's killing it these days, isn't he, in like the MLS?
Yeah, he was playing for Toronto, was it, I think?
Someone like that.
Can't remember. He was doing well,
Can you name the 3 substitutes? We already touched on one of them.
Yeah, Pablo came on.
For
Emnes. I knew it was Emnes as well. As soon as I said Pablo, I knew Emnes started that game.
yeah, he came on at half time, didn't he? And he, like, oh, that ball. That's all that needs to be said.
It was right after half time as well.
Split the Cardiff defence open, that ball to Rowledge.
Matt Grimes-esque.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Kanyas came on, I think, for De Guzman.
Oh, he's got 2 out of 2 for the sub so far. And what's the last one?
I reckon Lamar came on.
For?
Routledge.
Nah, it was Neil Taylor for Nathan Dyer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Probably seen the game out. It was 88 minutes, so...
That's not bad.
Nah, done all right.
Should have got Emnes.
You didn't get Emnes and De Guzman.
Well, I said
that's
Pablo.
The second time you haven't guessed De Guzman in the start.
Yeah, but I just said Pablo because I remember he did the ball. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I remembered Emnes started.
What about goals?
Oh, yeah, Routledge, Dyer, Boney.
Yeah, too easy.
Never forget that one.
Okay, bit of news before we finish then. Well, I say a bit of news. I got some news on Joe Allen. And it's not... We said he might miss the World Cup, didn't we, last time? There's a bit of an update. Apparently he's going to go and try and see a specialist for his hamstring injury, so it's worse than expected, essentially. But, I mean, I don't know what to say, really. We knew it was a risk.
I didn't want this to happen. I obviously didn't want this to happen, but I did say caution on signing him.
It's a good thing that I guess Felton's come and shown his form again then, because we haven't, I don't think, missed Allen as much as he was playing well when he was there, when he was on.
Yeah.
We haven't missed him too much.
Well, I guess.
If at all, really.
I hope he gets a chance to go to the World Cup because it'd be devastating if he misses it, even if he just gets to, be on the bench if he's not fit enough to start. But
yeah.
I guess, like, selfishly from a Swans point of view, if he misses the World Cup and then he comes back and, after Christmas.
Yeah, it's disappointing. If you're Welsh hat on, you got it, and you.
Oh, it'd be devastating if he doesn't make it. He deserves to just get one appearance in the World Cup at least.
It looks like as well, while we're on World Cup, I believe Stoke City's Reece Norrington Davis looks likely to also miss with another hamstring injury. So
that's a shame.
City, Sheffield United now, isn't he?
Sheffield United, yeah, that's a shame, man.
Did he used to be Stoke? I feel like he did.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Am I lying? Am I making that up?
It might be.
I could be. No, he did. He played the Stoke last year on loan. He was there on loan.
Fair play.
I knew I saw it at some point. But sorry, yeah, Sheffield United's he used to play for our academy, I didn't. Not for long, mind, but he was there at some point.
Yeah.
Another one that got away. 2017, it says. So it looks like we scouted him and then he got taken quite quick off our books. You're saying about the selection headache. Russell Martin's actually been in the presser saying that the young guns are causing him a selection headache. Obviously, specifically talking about Ollie Cooper, I think. But then also Luke Cundle, Harry Darlin and Joel Latbode. Yeah. The other thing we didn't mention about the game, we saw the return of Cameron Congreve to the bench and he actually came on briefly.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
Do you reckon he took him? Do you think he was managing him in a way like he had a really bad time in that game that he started? Got subbed early, didn't he? Or half time or something. Do you think it was a case of, right, I'm going to put you back in the youth team for a couple of weeks, go get your confidence back up. I'm going to take you out of the limelight, get all the pressure off you, concentrate on your game, and then you come back in. Because I know you're good enough. It's just, it's a big environment to make that step up.
I don't doubt Russell Martin anymore with the stuff because he's managed every situation so well. Like the Patterson blowout, the Obafemi whatever happened the first time round as well. The first season he was here, and this season with the transfer, and then I trust what he's doing with Congreve because I know like he was playing him and and he made the 2 mistakes against Middlesbrough away, wasn't it? And we haven't really seen him since, but no doubt he's doing the right thing. And maybe he's brought him back in to bring off the bench against Cardiff as a local boy to bring him on.
Yeah,
to see the game out beyond the pitch when they beat Cardiff. Yeah. I forget though. Again, Congreve is 18.
I know.
Yeah, he's got to manage him. Maybe he needed him to play because we were short. Maybe.
Well, Josh Thomas was on the bench last week, and he's brought Congreve in this time.
Yeah, I think like he was. He was playing him wing back in that game against Middlesbrough. I think we were at a point where we were just desperate for someone to play there. And I think he's just. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's just managing him, just taking him out of the limelight for a bit.
I think putting him on in this game was a statement of like, look, I do trust you. Like, you are in my plan still. You are going to be around the first team. That's why he's brought him on at the end, because I think it's a big game in it, and probably nice for him to get on a pitch for that game as well.
Yeah, he played on Monday then, didn't he? For the under-21s, they played on Monday afternoon. Yeah, he started. And Cullen did as well.
Yeah, Cullen didn't come on, did he?
Yeah, I think he came on, didn't he, at the end? I think he came on.
I did at the end, yeah, sorry.
Like, hardly no time, though, but he did come on.
Just noticed something as well. I got the Cardiff team up from that game we played, and I just noticed Declan John started.
Yeah.
And Stephen Corker, obviously. They had Wilfred Zaha and Craig Bellamy at the time as well, and Kenway Jones playing off top. So,
not a bad side, to be fair.
Yeah.
At the time.
Well, there we are then. I think that's most of what we needed to talk about today. Have you got anything else before we call it a day?
No, nothing else. I just think imagine beating Bristol City now as well on Saturday.
Going top. There's some games tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's a shame because they're playing. I think it's from the weekend when the Queen died. That some of them are being played tonight.
When's ours?
Ours is on the 8th of November, so it's in like a couple of weeks. But we got Birmingham away. But then he's got Burnley Norwich tonight. So I think if Norwich win, they'll go back above us. But we'll have a game.
They're 0-0 at the moment. So obviously, there's only like half an hour left.
Yeah, can you imagine now? Because we play early on Saturday as well with 12 o'clock. So maybe we'll go top.
So if obviously stays 0-0, Burnley are 3 points ahead of us. We can't go top because of goal difference. They've got like 14 better than us.
Fair.
Just saying though. How? Well, they've only lost one game.
No, I said fair enough. We're not going to score 14 goals.
So like going back to, I know we touched on earlier the loss against Burnley. To be fair, Russell Martin held his hands completely up in the air for that loss, saying that he didn't change the game plan from the last couple of games. They had a game plan set up for Burnley, but they ditched it because they were playing so well and winning all these games. And he said that was a mistake because obviously Burnley are just really good. They got a really good squad from Premier League. They look like the one team that perhaps is doing it at the moment, maybe. But then the stats, I know they've drawn a lot of games, but they've only lost once. Like, it says it all really about that squad, that team. So I wouldn't be too worried about that defeat. 1-0 or 4-0, it doesn't matter. It's still one loss on paper. So, yes, they are currently 3 points ahead of us as the score stands 0-0. QPR obviously have got to play as well, which if they do win, they'll go on 33, which means we can't even go joint top if that happens. I actually know who they got. Do you know who they got? Birmingham. Birmingham Friday night, actually.
Yeah, I said they play Friday night.
Yeah, we'll know before. But Blackburn have already played their 17th game. We're on 16, they're on 17, so we can go level with Blackburn, who are joint top on 30 at the moment. So if QPR lose, QPR continue to draw, and we win, all four of us will be on 30 points.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? It's frightening. I don't know what you think, and I'm not getting too ahead of myself. There's a long way to go. But if you look at the teams at the top, obviously you've got Burnley, probably on their own. You got Sheffield United and decent teams.
QPR.
Yeah, you got QPR, who we beat. I know Blackburn like give us a bit of a hammering.
Well, that was when we were
Early
having
on.
a rough time.
But that was too early on in the season. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think any of these teams are like, they're not special.
Yeah, well,
like,
Sheffield United only just beat us, but their
Sheffield
form
United, it
is
wasn't that
horrendous at the
impressive with them when
moment.
they came down. Yeah, we deserved at least a draw in that game. We had chances as well. They had a couple of chances, but they didn't look miles better than us. I guess the only team you could say that were miles better than us were Burnley. Beat QPR. Norwich, I think Norwich are they on a bit of resurgence? I don't know. It seemed like they dipped in
No, they
form.
haven't won in the last 5.
That's it. But they started bad, then they had a massive run, and now they're on another dip.
Yeah.
But they're our
That's what
first
it
game
looked like.
back after the break, aren't they?
It looked like them and Sheffield were running away with it, and both of them
Yeah,
have just hit really bad form, and they've dropping down. I know they're not dropped off in it because obviously they were ahead, but they started dropping down now because they're still not winning. Norwich drawing again tonight against Burnley.
I think over time, like I think Burnley, Sheffield United, and Norwich will be up there. I think as the season, overall, as it sort of pans out, they'll be up there. But we can definitely stick around with the likes of Blackburn and QPR.
Yeah. And Bristol City have lost their last game as well, so they are down in 13th place at the moment. Obviously, our next game, but it's an interesting table, isn't it? Like, I'm surprised to see where we are. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it. So it's nice to see
I know.
that we're in the mix at least.
Supposed to be where we were to now be fourth.
Yeah, but a couple of weeks and it could change. Like Luton were up there the other day, and now they're 9th. So Watford have gone down to 11th somehow.
Yeah, they've been rubbish since they sacked the manager. Since Bilic has come in, they haven't done much. I know they won on the weekend.
The first game, and then we beat them, and it's been a bit, rubbish since.
I'd expect them to probably get back higher up as well by the end of the year.
Reading falling off as well. They actually beat Bristol in their last game 2-0.
Yeah.
But that's the first win in a while. Paul Ince obviously wasn't too happy after the game the other day. Did you see any of his comments?
Well, now after the Swans game?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a joke.
He was so bitter.
Just get over it. I mean, look at the way you came to play. Like, you can't have no complaints.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll call it a day there. So it's been a bit longer, but obviously usually is after we play Cardiff and get a win. So it's to be expected, I guess. 2 this week. So I'll try get a video out for Bristol. I'll try get in contact with someone. Do we have a midweek next week?
No, it's the week after, I think. Because we've got...
We got Preston. We got Bristol, then
Preston. Preston, yeah. Preston. I forgot about Preston. Yeah, so we're Saturday midweek all the way through then, are we? Until
yeah, so we've got us 5 games left till the World Cup. So it's Bristol away, Preston away, Wigan at home, Birmingham away, Huddersfield away. Or one home game.
Yeah. One home game. Yeah, and then in the last 5.
But the Birmingham one is the replay, isn't it?
Yeah, the Birmingham one is the
That's why there's only one home game.
Yeah.
And then we return.
Our fixtures when we come back are sick as well. They're ridiculous. We've got
Norwich.
Our first game back is Norwich at home. Then we've got Coventry away, and then we've got Reading away, Watford home, Burnley home, Sunderland away, QPR away. So literally like teams
straight
in the
back
top.
to it.
Oh, yeah,
straight back. But I mean, yeah, it's the championship.
It's a horrible run back in, that is.
Not if you win them all.
No.
Actually wanted to leave before we leave with this last masterpiece from Joel Latbodia, who's just been winning Twitter. 3 positions, 3 goals, 3 points. But this was the best one.
Nice, yeah.
Absolutely. I actually can't say his name. Paul Abantondo, is it? Abandondo. I can't say. Do you want to have a go?
Abandonato, isn't it? Abandonato.
There we are. You said it better than me. Idiot. But yes, I thought he's given some options about, like, I don't know, how Cardiff were going to approach a couple of games, and Latbodia has just absolutely mugged them off. Fair play. Like, that's quality.
Yeah,
and then there was this one as well. By the way, does anybody know why Gareth Bale didn't play?
I wonder if he'll go there after the World Cup.
He's gonna go retire, surely.
Can you imagine? Imagine he plays out the last season at Cardiff then, like he just because the MLS will be finished in January.
Come on loan.
Come on loan.
What if he comes to us on loan?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I wonder. Let's have a see. I'd be interested to see if he plays in that second derby in Cardiff. Bill.
I think that's gone, and they got no money. So how are they going to get that? How are they going to make that happen?
Yeah, but if he's just like, I think he only had a 1 season contract with LA, didn't he? So
yeah,
I think
but if it's
like,
a loan, innit? Like if it's a full
yeah,
season.
but his contract will be over because it finishes in January. So if he just goes there on a free and probably plays for nothing just to play for Cardiff to see out his career, but
Is that actually even allowed? Is that allowed? Surely there'd have to be something.
I guess so. It wouldn't really make any sense. Like I know he's from Cardiff, but he's never played for Cardiff, so it's not really a thing for him to finish.
I just think he likes the hype around when they all talk about it. Like it's just good for. He's probably selling his club. Was it pitch or par something? The golf bar that he's got in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're actually going to end it now. So cheers for joining me, Lee. As always, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Let us know what you thought about the big derby win in the comments. 3-0, 4-0, 2-0, the last 3 results. Does that mean the next one's going to be 1-0?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Who knows? Or 5? Could be 5, maybe. 5-0. But yeah, let us know what you thought in the comments. Like, what is the selection headed going forward for Russell Martin? Who should he be playing when he's got a fully fit squad? And can we carry this form on for the rest of the season to give a proper promotion push, playoff push, whatever you want to call it? Cheers for joining me, Lee, and we shall catch you in the next one.
No worries. See you soon.